Hey, what's up guys? So swap and evolve just triggered and it's been reset now, so the function just happened. Safemoon said that as part of our rollout, we have completed the final stages of our pre-flight checks on swap and evolve. It means the Safemoon army got an extra swap evolve ahead of time. The one you've been tracking will continue as planned as well. So if we go to the charts, we can see that a $21,122 buy happened. This is 66.16. If you multiply that times 2, you get 132.32. And it happened at 2:51 p.m., which is, if we zoom in on the charts right here, it was this little candle right here. You can see a $21,000 buy, and then there was a sell-off right there. So it's just going to be a $21,000 buy. And that's what I've been saying in my videos if you guys have been following me. I woke up from a nightmare and I couldn't sleep, so I was just up thinking about swap and evolve, and I actually have something else that really clears this up for you that I'm going to go into right now. So first I just want to get this out of the way, and it's pretty important that swap and Liquify was only selling half of the Safemoon that it was storing up. So it was storing up Safemoon from the tax, and then it would sell half. Whenever it executed, it would sell 250 million Safemoon. And swap and evolve sells all of it. So swap and Liquify would store up a ton of Safemoon, sell half, pair the BNB with the Safemoon at an equal price, and then put it into the liquidity pool. Swap and evolve is constantly selling all the Safemoon that it's getting at 323,323.32, which is about $280, until that happens about 150 times to fill up the swap and evolve function, which then sells half the BNB, which is the 66.16 BNB, for $21,000 buy on the charts. The reason this is important is because it's the same thing that's happening in a different way that has a slightly different outcome. Psychologically, it might be a better outcome, but as far as the buying and the selling goes, I'll be looking deeper into that. But today I just wanted to make this so that people understood that what makes these two things the same is that swap and Liquify is selling only half, and swap and evolve is selling all of its Safemoon and then buying half. It's the same thing. If you take $100 and you spent $50 to buy a different currency worth the same, $50 worth of gold, you'd have 50 gold and $50. You'd have $50 worth of gold and $50, and now you have your money is split up, but you have a pair. Whereas with swap and evolve, if you had $100 and you sold all of it for gold, got $100 worth of gold, but then you want an equal pairing, so then you again made another sell of that gold, half the gold being sold again, but you did it over a smaller amount of time. Say you did it in $5 increments, all the way until you sold half. That would leave you with $50 worth of gold and $50 again. So the net result is the same. And I think it's important that people understand that no matter what, we're ending up with 50 gold and $50 and 50 gold and $50. And just with swap and Liquify and swap and evolve, you're ending up with the same result. So we're just going to try to actually break this down into what it actually would look like. Swap and Liquify was not selling Safemoon. It was storing it up from all the volume. It would not sell. It would only sell half at the end of the threshold, which was once it hit 500 million Safemoon, it would sell half. There would be a 250 million Safemoon sell, but during this entire time, it was not selling. Swap and evolve has to happen a bunch of times because the threshold has been lowered in order to hit that amount. But by the time that swap and evolve has stored up a total of 500 million in that wallet and sold it over and over and over and over again, which will be the same amount of time as swap and Liquify, by the time that it's stored up 500 million Safemoon, swap and evolve should have executed around 10 times. Swap and evolve is selling 323,323.32. And the numbers actually change. If you go look at swap and evolve happening, sometimes it changes a little bit and it's not exactly always that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to divide 500 million by 323,323.32 so that we can know how many times this has to execute before it would have done the equal amount of swap and Liquify would have done. And so this has to happen 1,546 times 0.43 and so on to equal the one time that swap and liquify was happening, because the thresholds are that different. So if swap and liquify sold 250 million at 0.00088, it would be minus 220,000. On the charts, it'd be about a $220,000 sell on the charts. Swap and Evolve has to do the sell 1,546 times to have the same impact that Swap and Liquify had in order to get that much Safemoon. And each sell is going to be worth $284. So each time it sells 323,323 Safemoon. If you go look at it, you can see it's about $280 right now. It's actually 284.5245216. Now, in order to get the amount of selling that's happening between this, the amount of times it has to happen to see what is the selling looking like, we're going to get 440,000. Because Swap and Evolve is selling all of it and not just half, it's going to be double what Swap and Liquify is. And then Swap and Evolve is going to buy half of that. It's buying half the entire time at smaller intervals. It'll buy half about 10 times. It'll make 10 buys of 66 BNB is how much is being bought. And that's about $21,000. It just happened. We just saw it on the charts, and that'll happen about 10 times in order to equal the same amount as Swap and Liquify, which means that there was, during that time, 220,000 worth of buys that happened during that time, so that the net result is the same. We're still ending up with minus 220,000 up here and minus 220,000 down here if we did the math. And beyond that, the differences that we would be looking at is because Swap and Evolve is basically doing a lot more transactions. Instead of just having this one-time sell up here that Swap and Liquify has, it's selling all of it, which is already twice as much gas. And then it's rebuying, which is even more gas. So I think that would be about 2.5 times more gas that's happening on Swap and Evolve that's not happening on Swap and Liquify, because it only had to have one sell. And I think you'd have to look at that and you'd have to compare that to if there is any type of positive price action that happens from having a bunch of small sells that lead into a decent buy, whether the psychology or whether the different price ranges. That's what I'll be looking at to compare these two. But the net result is the same thing. You have minus 220,000 up here, and you have minus 220,000 right there. So I hope this brings more clarification. I'm going to be looking and talking to hopefully one of the experts on Swap and Evolve and getting a further breakdown of weighing the gas fees versus the lower thresholds and seeing what we end up with as a net result of which one is better. But they're looking to be basically the same thing, other than the psychology that's happening on the charts. And if you look at the charts, it was only a $21,000 buy, and there's probably somebody out there waiting for that to happen to take advantage of that every time it happens, unfortunately. I have memberships now, so if you're out there and you really want to support me, the views are down, so it's hard for me to dedicate hours of time to making these videos. So if there's people out there that want to support me, I have memberships, both Crypto Control and Crypto Dreams, and I'm also working on a Patreon. So if you want all the money to go to me, you could do the Patreon. It's Crypto Control /Apocalypto is my Patreon, and I'll put those links in the description down below. For anybody that chooses to support me, thank you so much. It'll enable me to keep making these videos. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video where we'll take an even deeper look at Swap and Evolve versus Swap and Liquify.